Smith, and we've got bowling, and I'm going to tell you how we walk through our bowling unit. Sometimes it's 1 week, some years it's 2 weeks, but we always start out with a highlight video that shows students that have never been to a bowling alley what it actually looks like, because a lot of times this is all they've seen. So for them to be able to see what it looks like, see and understand what a real strike looks like is super fun for them, and it gets them excited about bowling. We then talk about the bowling ball, and we tell them that when they go to the bowling alley, they're gonna have to pick out a bowling ball. That we say that it looks like a face. This is the larger face, and the students need to look for the smaller face on the ball, and that they're gonna put their 2 inside fingers and thumb in. It looks like a fox or a hook 'em horns, but it looks like this. A lot of students will try to hold the bowling ball like this with their pointer finger and thumb, but we tell them inside finger. We also tell them that they want to have their palm facing up. When their palm is facing down, they're putting a back spin on it, and they are not ready to try to do any type of spin. So to always have their palm facing up. So on day 1, our objective is to learn to hold and roll the ball correctly. So we've talked about how to hold it, and then we go into our 4 cues that we use for bowling, and it is step, lunge, roll, and follow through. And we have a lot of students that will hold the ball and they will step with the same foot that they are bowling with. So that one's a big one for us. We tell them they're going to step with the opposite foot, and that this bowling ball is not a basketball. So we've got to get it to the ground as quickly as we can. And the way that we do that, we swing, we step, we lunge, and that is going to help us get the ball down low. And then we roll and follow through. So those are our 4 cues that we use in a variety of activities. No matter what we're doing in bowling, those are the 4 cues that we want them to focus on. So then we talk about rotation, and no matter what activity or bowling game we are doing for that day, we always have the same rotation, and it's great because it's set for the whole week after that first day, and kids understand it and they can help each other, and it is really easy. Number 1, you are in line, and if you're in line, you're behind the cone and you are simply waiting for your turn. If you do not have the ball, then you have to stay behind the cone. That way, when the bowler is bowling, they're not gonna rear back and hit someone in the face that's waiting in line. So their only job is to stay behind the cone until it's their turn. So in line, then the bowler, then the ball retriever. The bowler has a couple of things that they need to do. Number 1, they're gonna set up right behind our foul line. These carpets are great. We got these during a grant opportunity, and so they have foul line labeled. Maybe you have a piece of tape on the floor, but we have them step to the foul line, then take a step back. Now they are ready to take a step, 1-step approach to bowl. Bowlers cannot bowl until they get the thumbs up from the ball retriever, and that's one of the jobs of the ball retriever. But the bowler, after they bowl, they're responsible for going down and setting up the pins. That is the bowler's job. The ball retriever has several different jobs. Number 1, they are to give a thumbs up. That shows that they're ready to go, and they are paying attention, because job number 2 is if the bowler rolls it into another lane, the ball retriever needs to run and get it before it knocks over someone else's pins. So they have to be paying attention. And number 3, they are responsible for carrying the ball back. They can help the bowler set up the pins if they'd like, especially when we're in one of our fast-paced games that it's a race. They can help, but their main job is to take the ball back. So those are the 3 positions. So the bowling activity that I like to do on day 1 is called addition bowling and subtraction bowling. And I got this game from Christina Fuller. She's got some great stuff. I've told you before, follow her on Twitter, but it is called addition bowling, and then if we get to it, subtraction bowling. So I've set up the yellow lane there. It has 1 bowling pin. So you want to set it up in that number 1 position, and everybody starts with 1 pin. Now, if my bowler knocks down that 1 pin, then they get to add 1 pin. And so every time they get a strike, they add a pin. If they don't get a strike, they don't add a pin. So for example, I roll the ball, I knock down pin number 1. Then when I hustle down as the bowler, I'm the one that gets to add the pin. That way they're not fighting over it, and it's kind of a reward for knocking down all the pins. So we would then have 2 pins. If the next bowler on my team knocked both pins down, then we add another pin. So now we're at 3. Say the next person on my team rolls and they only knock 2 out of those 3 pins down. We don't get to add another pin. We just set up those 3 again and try again. Now, the goal is to get all the way to 10 and then get a strike. When we get a strike on all 10, then we hustle back, we sit behind our cone, hands in the air. That's how we show that we are the winner in our class, and so they would be the winning team. Now, you can stop once you get one winner or maybe a couple winners, and then I have everyone reset with 10 pins. So now we're gonna do subtraction bowling. Subtraction bowling is, we have to get a strike first. So this one's a little harder. That's why I always start with the addition bowling and then move to subtraction, because getting that strike of 10 can be tough. So if we get a strike of 10, we subtract 1. And now we have 9 pins. We go all the way down till we get that last pin. We get a strike, we are at 0. We hustle back down, sit behind our cone, hands in the air, and we are the winner. So that is a fun, super active game that your kids would enjoy for day number 1. So when we move to day 2 of bowling, then I like to use several of Mike Graham's resources. And if I'm doing 2 weeks of bowling, I'm gonna do a few of his resources because they are so great. So my top ones in no particular order are Cube Collector, Race to 100, and Bingo. So any of those 3 are awesome. I will link his resources below. Like I said, I think he's the guru on a lot of things, but especially bowling, so I will link that below. After trying maybe one of his resources or several of his resources, we then move to regular bowling, which is super fun because the kids really at that point are amped up and excited to do a regular bowling. We do it with our glow bowling. So if I'll link some of the resources that we've used. We get a lot of our stuff off of Amazon, but we have the black lights, the neon. We tell the kids to wear white or neon, and it's just a super fun way to wrap up our bowling. We also have a big disco ball that we'll put up on the wall, and it's just a super fun time. Now, one extra thing that I do is I have a cowbell, because who doesn't love a cowbell? If you get a strike anytime during our unit, especially after day 2, or maybe during our regular bowling or our glow bowling, you get to go ring that cowbell and we'll just do a quick woo, we'll celebrate you because it's fun to celebrate kids in any way that we can. So I hope that you give bowling a try. It's super fun. Your kids are gonna really enjoy it, and especially those kids maybe that aren't as athletic or enjoy the fast-paced games that you have, they might really enjoy bowling. So make it a great day.